The autumn sun cast golden light through Central Park as Maxwell Sterling sat alone on a bench, staring at his phone without really seeing it. At 37, he had built a private equity empire worth hundreds of millions, but his carefully controlled life felt increasingly empty. His engagement had ended 6 months ago when his fiancée admitted she loved his lifestyle more than she loved him. He was reviewing acquisition proposals when a small shadow fell across his screen. "This is for you." Maxwell looked up to find a little girl standing in front of him, maybe 5 years old, with wild blonde curls and bright blue eyes. She wore a pink dress and held a teddy bear in one arm. In her other hand, she extended a single, yellow flower, a dandelion, really, the kind most people called a weed. "For me?" Maxwell asked, confused. The girl nodded solemnly. "You look sad. Mommy says flowers make sad people smile, so I picked you one." Maxwell stared at the dandelion, this simple gesture from a stranger, and felt something crack inside his chest. When was the last time someone had given him something without wanting something in return? "Thank you," he said, taking the flower carefully. "This is very kind." The little girl beamed. "See, you are smiling now. It worked." She waved and ran back toward a young woman sitting on a blanket nearby, surrounded by books and a laptop. Maxwell watched as the girl returned to her mother, chattering excitedly and pointing back at him. The mother looked up, her expression apologetic, and waved in acknowledgement. Maxwell waved back, then returned to his phone, but he could not concentrate. He kept looking at the dandelion in his hand, this gift from a child who saw a sad stranger and wanted to help. He looked at the mother and daughter, the woman working on her laptop while the girl played nearby with quiet contentment. Something about the scene drew him. Maybe it was the genuine connection between mother and child. Maybe it was the simplicity of their happiness. Maxwell stood and walked over to their blanket. "Excuse me, I wanted to thank your daughter properly for the flower." The woman looked up, and Maxwell found himself caught by her eyes, warm brown, intelligent, with laugh lines that suggested she smiled often. She was perhaps 30, with light brown hair pulled back in a ponytail, wearing jeans and a simple sweater. "I'm so sorry if Lily bothered you," she said. "She has this habit of trying to fix everyone's problems." "She did not bother me. She reminded me of something important." Maxwell knelt down to Lily's level. "Thank you for the flower. It is the nicest gift anyone has given me in a very long time." Lily's face lit up. "Really? Do you feel better now?" "I do. Much better. Good. Because mommy says helping people is the best magic." Lily held up her teddy bear. "This is Mr. Buttons. He thinks you look nice." Maxwell found himself smiling genuinely for the first time in weeks. "I think Mr. Buttons looks very distinguished." The woman laughed. "I am Charlotte, by the way, and you have already met Lily, my unstoppable force of optimism." "Maxwell," he said, standing and offering his hand. "I hope I am not interrupting your work. Just grading papers." "I am a teacher." Charlotte gestured to the stack of assignments beside her laptop. "Lily and I come here every Saturday. It is our special time together." Maxwell found himself asking, "Would you mind if I sat with you for a bit?" "I promise I am not a creep." He paused, surprising himself with honesty. "I just realized I have been sitting alone on a park bench for 2 hours, and the only human interaction I have had was a 5-year-old giving me a flower. That seems like something I should change." Charlotte studied him carefully, then smiled. "All right, but fair warning, Lily will probably try to recruit you for whatever game she is playing." Maxwell sat on the edge of the blanket, and within minutes, Lily had indeed recruited him to be the dragon in an elaborate fantasy game involving teddy bears, flowers, and a quest to save the park. Charlotte worked on her grading, but occasionally looked up with amusement as Maxwell found himself fully engaged in pretending to be a reformed dragon who now protected flowers instead of burning them. "You are good with her," Charlotte observed. During a break in the game. "I am surprising myself," Maxwell admitted. "I do not have children. I have barely spent time around them. But Lily makes it easy." "He has that effect on people." Charlotte's expression grew thoughtful. "Can I ask you something? Why were you so sad earlier?" "You do not have to answer if it is too personal." Maxwell looked at Lily, now dancing around the blanket with Mr. Buttons. Because I have spent years building a successful career and accumulating wealth, and I just realized I have no one to share it with. No real friends, no family nearby, no meaningful connections, just business associates and people who want something from me. That sounds lonely, Charlotte said gently. But I did not realize how lonely until a little girl gave me a weed and smiled at me like I mattered. They talked for hours. Maxwell learned that Charlotte was a single mother, teaching elementary school while raising Lily alone. Lily's father had left when she was a baby, but Charlotte spoke of it without bitterness, simply as a fact she had moved beyond. Lily asks about him sometimes, Charlotte said. I tell her that some people are not meant to be parents, and that is okay because she has me and I have her and we are enough. You are an extraordinary mother, Maxwell said. I am doing my best. That is all any of us can do. As the sun began to set, Maxwell realized he did not want this afternoon to end. Could I see you both again? Maybe next Saturday? Charlotte looked surprised. Really? You want to spend your Saturday in a park with a teacher and a 5-year-old? I cannot think of anything I would rather do, Maxwell said honestly. Over the following weeks, Saturday afternoons in the park became Maxwell's favorite part of the week. He played with Lily, talked with Charlotte about everything from philosophy to favorite books, and slowly began to understand what he had been missing. Charlotte showed him a world where success was measured not in deals closed or money made, but in a child's laughter and small kindnesses given freely. She challenged his assumptions about what mattered, always gently but firmly. You talk about your work like it defines you, she observed one afternoon. But who is Maxwell when he is not closing deals and making money? I do not know, Maxwell admitted. I have been so focused on building my career that I forgot to build a life. It is not too late to start, Charlotte said. Maxwell found himself falling in love not just with Charlotte, but with the life she represented. The simplicity of their Saturdays, the joy of being with people who valued him for who he was, not what he had. The warmth of connection that had nothing to do with networking or business advantage. 3 months after that first dandelion, Maxwell arrived at the park with a picnic basket and a nervous heart. He found Charlotte and Lily at their usual spot, and Lily ran to hug him like she always did. I have something special today, Maxwell announced, unpacking the picnic. A celebration. What are we celebrating? Lily asked, bouncing with excitement. A change. A big one. Maxwell pulled out an envelope and handed it to Charlotte. I made a decision this week. I am stepping back from my company, promoting my second in command to CEO while I move to a strategic advisor role, 20 hours a week instead of 8. Charlotte stared at him. Why would you do that? Because a 5-year-old gave me a flower and made me realize I had been too busy being successful to actually live. Because her mother showed me what life could look like if I chose connection over achievement. Because I do not want to be the lonely man on the park bench anymore. He knelt down in front of Lily. And because I would like to ask your permission for something important. Would it be okay if I spent more time with you and your mom? If I came to your school events and helped with homework and read bedtime stories? If I tried to be someone you could count on? Lily's eyes went wide. Like a daddy? Maxwell's throat tightened. If that would be okay with you. Lily threw her arms around his neck. Yes, because you are nice, and you play dragons, and you make mommy laugh. Maxwell stood and looked at Charlotte, who had tears streaming down her face. Charlotte, I'm not the same person who sat on that bench 3 months ago. Your daughter gave me a flower, and you gave me something even more valuable. You gave me a glimpse of what life could be. I chose love over ambition, connection over success, presence over productivity. He pulled out a small box. I am not perfect. I am still learning how to be present instead of productive. But I want to learn with you. Will you marry me? Will you let me be part of this extraordinary family you have built? Through her tears, Charlotte nodded. Yes, but only if you promise to always remember why you changed. Promise me you will never forget that a 5-year-old's dandelion mattered more than any deal you ever closed. I promise, Maxwell said. How could I forget? It was the moment my life actually started. At their wedding, Lily was flower girl, carrying a bouquet that included several dandelions. In his vows, Maxwell said, "You gave me a weed and called it a flower. You saw a sad stranger and wanted to help. You taught me that the simplest gestures, a smile, a gift, a moment of kindness matter more than any fortune. Thank you for saving me with the dandelion." If this story reminded you that small acts create big changes, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment about when someone's simple kindness transformed your life.